You're listening to Shift, Human First Financial Guidance with Ross Marino.
Today, we are shifting the conversation with Dr. Preston Cherry. Hello.
Hey, Ross.
Glad to have you on here. It was great to meet you in person. We had met before that. I was so excited to have you come out to Shift and share. And really, I think I sent you a message on Twitter a while ago. I appreciate the content that you share, and I love how you present things, but you've got a way with phrasing, the way you put the words together. I mean, I literally last time actually thought, did this guy ever write songs? Because you're able to break it down so simply and so memorable. So I just got to ask you, were you a songwriter? Where'd you learn how to do that?
Oh, wow. You hit the nail on the head. I've been writing poetry for 30 years. So,
seriously?
And songs a little bit. I mean, so I do have a collection of songs and poetry. So my first poem, Ross, at the age 13, somewhere around there, 44. So yeah.
Gotcha. Well, it's a skill to actually figure out how to say something in as few words as possible and get the message across where it'll be memorable. And I just noticed that. I thought, yeah, this guy's next level, man. I got to ask him that. So bravo. So yeah, keep creating, keep writing. I think it's awesome. Let's talk about shifts. So you were part of the conference, the first shift. You were involved in some sessions, and how about you talk about who you presented with? You guys did some really unique sessions, and maybe what some of the takeaways were.
Yeah, Ross. First of all, great job envisioning the conference, and thanks for the invite. I got to present with some great friends. So Dr. Sarah Acevedo, Dr. Meg Lertz, and Ed Combs was fantastic. Dr. Ed Combs. I mean, so we did some sessions on some live presentation sessions, so interaction. So what we did was we did role play, Ross. We did role play, which was tough. I mean, because the audience, I mean, they're professionals. They do this for a living. And when you're performing in front of your peers, and I think the Oscars were that week or something like that too. I mean, so it was kind of tough. So you're opening yourself up. But you know what? Here's the thing. We are being vulnerable. We're being open. We're being honest. And we're being courageous and transparent. All of these things we're asking our clients to do as well. So what we were doing, Ross, was taking these theoretical aspects of the human side of money, right? And integrating those into actual practice. So many people ask, well, what does that have to do, meaning these human aspects, with the money and with the process, and what does it look like? So we were role playing and integrating these human theories, academic and model wise, into the process and demonstrating them.
I think it was the second day when we were closing the conference. There was a happy hour, and I was having a conversation with some people, and they were talking exactly about that, how much they appreciated the applicability of what they were learning and really wanting more of it. And I remember writing notes. It was part of my first series of notes of takeaways, which is next year's theme needs to be human first in practice, or human first in action, but something where we shift it up a little bit and actually make it much more engaging of this is how you do it, and maybe get a few more advisors. So kicking around some ideas like that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with those ideas. I mean, there's so much we can build upon with the feedback I received. It was good seeing that live. It was good seeing it. It was good hearing those responses. It was good that I was able to perform with a good friend of mine, Dr. Meg Lertz, because we've been friends for a while. So we trusted one another in order to really get into the role play as far as being a married couple. So that was beneficial, because the feedback I received, and so did the others, was that, okay, that seemed real, because we were playing in a live session, and some of the theories, but they're not just theories on paper, Ross. But we a couple of them, and I won't get into too much detail. But being compassionate inquiry, meaning just leading with inquiry, leading with heart. Open up the heart, open up the mind. Okay, being inquisitive. Attachment styles to different. So attachment theory, Ed did that one. So how do we deal with aspects of money? So unlocking that, willingness to change. So trans theoretical model. So he's had these fancy names. So we as humans know what they are, but they have fancy names, right? Motivational interviewing. So it's like, okay, how do we ask questions in order to draw out the information that we need? And mine was Sarah, she did, what did she do? She did conflict resolution. So the couples have these instances with money where they disagree. So how do you resolve those issues or help resolve those issues? And mine was walking people through their own story because they come to us to talk. So that was a quick summary, but the whole gist of it was seeing that in action, because people bring their money issues to the table and they want help with clarity and confidence with them.
It was so cool to see the interaction, and I know you guys all put a lot of effort into it, and you were intentional on what aspects you were bringing to it, and the scripting of it. And yeah, it was real. It was natural. I definitely enjoyed it. And I know when I slipped in, because I kind of jump in and out of some of the sessions, the time I was in there standing in the back, I noticed a bunch of questions coming from the audience, and not just questions, but it was an interactive crowd where they were just making comments, and they would stand up, and it was such an engaging type of presentation. And when you're on the stage or you're on the microphone, you don't know what's going to be asked. Was there any comment or any question that came that you thought was insightful or challenging or maybe caught you off guard?
Yes, there was a few, Ross, and one of them was there was a couple. One of them was, how do you know when you're crossing the line from financial planning and into therapy, like clinical therapy? And well, it's subjective. It's subjective, and then it's objective, and that's a subjective answer in of itself.
It doesn't help yet.
It really, right? And I'll tell you, clinical therapy is when you're getting to trying to heal a person of their problem or issue that they're bringing to you, and that is out of the lane of financial coaching, financial planning. All right. When you're talking about financial therapy, it is using psychology and therapy frameworks and tools and applying them at a high macro level to a financial planning process. Okay. But you're not going into the healing or the diagnostic process. Once you're getting into that lane and you start feeling uncomfortable, or you identify the way in a way that says, oh, okay. And you ask someone, do you think that this is a true hindrance in life? Do you need more time? Do you need more in-depth addressing of this issue, where better professional guidance that would help you in this way? And you ask that type of question. Do you think this would help? And then the client would say, yeah, this has been bothering me a long time. I think I'm stuck, right? Then they say, okay, well, I have a referral for you, you see. So when you're talking about diagnosis and trying to heal, then that's clinical therapy, and that's outside of the realm.
That's clear. Thank you for that explanation. How about we shift to your practice? So you are a practitioner as well, and your website, you have your mission right up there. It's life, money, balance. So How about you define that for us? What is life, money, balance?
Yes, so many things. There's so many aspects in life, Ross, that come from a story. I love your story. I think that's what we kind of click with is stories, and we shared stories, and that's where life, money, balance came from, and that's where my kind of thing comes from is sharing a story, transformational aspects of life, and I want to share that upon others. And that's where life, money, balance come from. Let your life lead your money, not your money lead your life. So define what your life aspirations are, Ross, so you can figure out what you do want to do and let go of what you don't want to do anymore. And then once that life is defined, your aspirations, thinking boldly, then your life then directs where your money wants to go. And then they are aligned and they work together to work concurrently. And that's where I got the name of the financial, the firm came from too, Concurrent, right?
There you go.
So let your life lead your money, not your money lead your life. That's where I got that from. Life, money, balance.
Love the connection there. Now, you write, you do podcasts. I know you produce a lot of different content out there. So let's say over the last year or so, is there one topic or something that you produced that you really got a lot of feedback or a great response from?
Yes, I did. Matter of fact, I could sum up pretty much financial psychology in 2 episodes. I could, what they call it, drop the mic now. Drop the mic and walk away. 2 episodes with my parents. And I didn't even mention a big word or a big name or, kind of like how we're labeling things with these kind of fancy terms, because they summed it up. They summed it up with their life. Okay. They summed it up with it. They've been married 45 years, Ross. Right. And so you're talking about these marriage, financial socialization, financial enmeshment, blah, 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 all these fancy terms. Right. Well, they've been through them, Ross. And so when I kicked off my podcast, it's the first 2 episodes, and they discuss how they chose to deal with money then all the way up until now through marriage, children, life, and all that type of stuff. And one of the common threads is self-worth and self-value, how they instilled self-worth and self-value into me, into my sister, and how we use those characteristics and traits to be productive citizens, and how that, saved us through trial, made it, helped us go through triumph and be productive with our money, and how that became compounding. And those emotions are compounding as much as money is compounds.
That is awesome. I think somebody just posted on Twitter that their next guest was going to be their mother. I think it was Phil Pearlman.
Yep.
Was it Phil who said?
Yeah, it was Phil. It was Phil.
It was Phil. I read that and I thought, my mother is really bright and she's hysterical. Well, why I got to have her on. It just didn't even dawn on me. She's been coaching me for years. She's from the strategic leadership and development type world. I thought, well, I never even thought of having her on there. How silly. I got to put my mother on there. People like her more than me. It'll be so much fun. But yeah, so it sounds like a great idea. I mean, I could ask you questions all day. It's so fun to listen to you. I appreciate the work that you do. I appreciate you producing the content out there. And I know it's a ton of work. You don't just sit down, type, and hey, look at that. I just produced something. I mean, you have to put a lot of time and energy into it. It's impactful. It's making our profession better. So thank you for what you're doing. And we look forward to talking to you again.
All right. Thank you, Ross.
Thank you for listening to Shift with Ross Marino. Please visit humanfirst.live to learn more. This show is for general information purposes only and is not intended to provide recommendations or advice. Speak with a legal, tax, or financial advisor before making any decisions. Past performance references are historical and do not guarantee future results.